All right, so we are all completely dry. So the very first step to preparing this for our cards is our card front, our card size is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I want these pieces to be 4 inches by 5 1/4. So this piece of paper is 8 1/2 by 11. So I'm going to cut it down to 8 1/2 by 10 1/2, and then I'm going to cut it into quarters. And you'll end up with 4 pieces. You only actually need 3 of them to do these cards, but then you can choose exactly which ones are going to be best for what you're doing. All right, there we go. Let's put the trimmer away. So these are the cards that we are doing. So I'm going to pick which ones I would like for which. I'm going to do this one here, but I'm going to leave that there because that's going to be covered by the town. And then I'm going to do that one there. So you'll see there are some white spots on each one of them, and some of them are going to be, like this one here is going to be covered by the town, but any of the ones that are not covered, this is how you hide that. Just get some ink and just blend a little bit of ink on there. This is tumble glass, so it's the same color as one of the sprays that I use, but see how that makes that not quite so opaque? There's some white dots in there too that you can cover if you want. I'm just going to leave it because I kind of like the way it turned out there. I'm just going to cover this anyways, even though it's going to be covered by the town. And you could do as much or as little as you want. You could use one of the darker colors if you want, but if you use one of the darker colors, I would suggest lighter hand at first and then get a little bit heavier handed, just because if you get it too dark, then you might be able to see that you were inking it, right? So we want to be a little bit more subtle. And basically I'm just taking that starkness out of the white. So I think we've got that done here. Now the other thing that we need to do to prep these for the cards is I am going to want to temporarily stick this piece onto my card back while I die cut this, because I want it to be in a precise position and I want it to not move. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to put some temporary adhesive on just part of the background, and on this one I'm going to do it on the outside. Tombow Multi, if you use it as a glue and put 2 pieces of paper together, it's an amazing glue. Nothing's going to come apart, nothing's going to fall apart. The only way to get it apart is to rip it apart. But if you put it on a piece of paper and let it dry clear, it becomes like a post-it note. So I'm going to do that for all of these and then let them dry. So when you put the glue out, it's got a white look to it. You want to make sure that it's translucent before you use it on your cards. Now, you could also use something like this, which is a temporary adhesive. Mine just happens to be really, really old, so it's not quite as temporary as it should. If by chance you have something sticking and something rips, that's totally fine, because we're going to be gluing these things back together anyways. So anything that rips is going to be hidden. But this is just a way to hold things in place while we're doing the die cuts that we need to do within the cards. So I'm going to have to wait for this to completely dry before we can move on, and I'll see you when that happens.